Okay guys, we are jumping right in. I am using some of these leftover Halloween signs from the Dollar Tree. I actually don't decorate or do any DIYs or anything for Halloween, so I just grabbed them and knew that I was going to repurpose them. So all I'm doing is giving them 2 coats of the white chalk paint, and then I'm going to attach them together to make one big sign. So I love working with Dollar Tree signs like this because they are so easy to just piece together to make a larger sign. So all I do is just take a little bit of hot glue in between the 2 signs and push it together. Of course, I'm not going to trust that alone to hold it. So then I'm just going to use some craft sticks to kind of reinforce it. I have used Walmart Super Jumbo craft sticks and I really like those. They are so big. These are pretty large as well, but as you can see, they're like curved and they're kind of fancy looking. I like to use them sometimes as frames or something that you're going to see them because they do have that like little curve and look a little fancier. But I actually got this pack. It's a box of 200. I'm pretty sure you can get like different amounts, but I meant business when I was getting mine, so I got a box of 200. I can't remember how much they were, but I will find the link and link them below for you as always. But I really like using these too. So I got these stencils from Walmart and I really like them because they're 3 different sizes for just about $4. And as long as you are very delicate with them, they are reusable. What I do is I like to trace my stencil with pencil, and then I go around with a fine tip paint marker, and then I fill them in with paint. That way I'm able to tape the stencil itself down and not ruin it so that it is reusable for multiple times, because you're not painting directly on the stencil, so you're not like saturating it and ruining it. So you definitely get your money's worth out of them when you do it this way. Plus it helps keep your work like really neat, and you could see like if you have any mistakes when you're working with a pencil, then you could go back and easily erase it and fix it. I also love super rustic stuff, so anything I can do to something to make it look farmhouse or rustic or distressed, I go ahead and do that. So I just took my pencil and drew like faux shiplap lines. I went along with the board, kind of like used the board as, or the sign I guess you could say, as a cheat, and then just drew them with pencil. And then I just went ahead and filled in my letters with paint. So then I just used one of my favorite colors to distress with, which is the Elephant by Waverly. And I just used one of my chalk paint brushes and went around the edges and then went through the rest of the sign with the same brush. I really like working with this paint and even with this brush, because you can make it as light or as dark as you want to, depending on how heavy your hand is. So then I just took some sandpaper and went through and sanded it really like heavy duty. Like I really sanded this. I went over the letters, I went over the edges, I went over everything, and as you can see, it's just getting more and more distressed as we go, and I absolutely love that look. So even though I drew the O in and everything, I still wanted to make like a seasonal wreath for it. This is a sign that I intend to keep up all year round, and then just kind of change out like the O wreath with the season. But then I wanted to have the O there as an option if I didn't want to add anything to it. So of course I'm using some of these Dollar Tree garland ties and just making a little wreath that I'm going to attach as the O. Then I went ahead and used some of these black and red buffalo check ribbons that were pre-made from Dollar General. I'm still loving these. I make my own bows if I want a bigger bow, but if I want like a little small bow like this, I just go ahead and use those. And then of course I love that rustic natural look, So I went ahead with some of these little baby pine cones that I have, and I just attached those to my wreath as well. So I just attached the wreath to the sign by tying some twine around the wreath and then just gluing it to the back and adding a little popsicle stick for security. This next project was super fun. I just went ahead with one of these shadow boxes I got at the Dollar Tree. I picked a little piece off, and then I went ahead with one of these like little wooden signs you can get. They have them like for every season. They have like for Halloween, they had it for fall, they had it for Christmas. So I just had this one, and I knew I was going to paint it the elephant gray, so I just went ahead with a dark one. All I did here was just paint the inside of the shadow box with my black chalk paint. It did take a couple coats because of like that writing was kind of like embossed, and so it took a little bit to cover it up. Then I just painted the Day of the Dead wood block sign with some elephant chalk paint, and then I went ahead and painted some of these little stocking ornaments that you can get from the Dollar Tree as well. You get 5 in a pack for $1. And I just painted the top of the stocking with the white chalk paint. So somehow I lost a little bit of footage here, but I just went around the white frame with some of the elephant paint and just kind of distressed it, and then I just attached the shadow box onto the little wood plank with hot glue. Then, as you can see there on my parchment paper, I kind of like painted out a little fire flame. So then I was kind of using that as like my cheat to try to mock it on my little fireplace that I'm making. I used a couple different colors of acrylic paint. I used like a warm orange, and then I used some kind of crazy color red. I can't even remember, you guys, but I did get these acrylic paints off of Amazon, so I will link them below for you. I don't use them a whole lot. I bought them when I first started crafting back in the summer because I didn't really realize that you could buy paints at Walmart and stuff. I know, it's so funny. I have to laugh at myself now, but I mean, you live and you learn, right? So anyways, I just made sure that in between colors, as you can see, I'm kind of going back and forth between the two different colors. I used my heat gun so that I didn't smear the colors. I definitely wanted definition between each color.
With joy, yes, it's Christmas all around. Oh, snow is falling.
So I just kept going back and forth between the two colors until I was satisfied with the way it looked. Then I did go in a little heavy-handed with some white paint, so I did go back and fix that a little bit, but I like the way it turned out. I gave it a couple little sparks with like the back end of my paintbrush to make it look like the fire had sparked. Then this is kind of funny, you guys. I literally have a pile of sticks in a basket on my back deck, and so whenever I need a stick for a project, I send one of my girls out. So they ran out and grabbed me a stick, so I sat there and broke up a stick into these little twigs to make it look like they were logs on the fire. And I'm showing you how I'm going to place them, that way you could see what they look like. But then I went ahead and had to turn it this way so that I could see how they were going on, and then that's what they look like in the end. So then I just took some scrapbook paper, and I wasn't crazy about this scrapbook paper, but I hadn't gotten my order from Hobby Lobby yet, so I just went with what I had. I kind of regret not waiting, and I'm very tempted to kind of redo these stockings. They turn out cute, but I just love my new scrapbook paper that I got, and I would really like to incorporate it maybe. So who knows, maybe I'll make another fireplace, or maybe I'll just change the stockings. But so anyways, I just put some scrap paper down and then went ahead and Mod Podged it, and while I waited for that to dry, I glued some little twigs or logs beside the fire to make it look like it was the extra fire fire, logs for the fire. There we go. And then, of course, what is a mantle without some garland? So I went ahead and put some garland on top of it with some berries. I was going to attach that wreath, but then I remembered that I was putting stockings on it, so I ex-nayed that idea. So then I always have helpers. I always have little hands and little helpers popping in on the side. So then I just went ahead and distressed my fireplace a little bit. Of course, you got to give it that rustic farmhouse look. And then I jazzed up my stockings. I went ahead and painted the toes and like the heel. My daughter said, you got to do that. That's like the traditional stocking look. So I did that for her. And then I took some twine to kind of set some definition. And then I took some twine across the top, as you can see. And then what is a kind of crafty Kenzie video without some bows? So of course I had to attach the bows to the top of the stocking, and then I had to very strategically place these in a color order. I wanted to make sure the plaid was in the middle, and then I just attached them to the little mantle here, and now we have a little tiny fireplace with stockings. So for this next project, I'm just using one of these little Dollar Tree mason jar signs. These are really cute and they have a couple different designs. I definitely kept the red truck one intact because obviously I love the red truck. But this one I wanted to put my own little pizzazz on it, I guess you could say. So I went ahead and tried to sand off as much glitter as possible. And then I just gave it a couple coats of the white chalk paint. And after it was all nice and dry, I took some of this burlap ribbon that I have, and I just attached it, and then I played back and forth with what exactly I wanted to put on the ribbon. I had every intention to use that deer at first, but you'll see in a second that I changed my mind, which is what usually happens when I craft. I start out with one idea in mind and I end up going a completely different direction sometimes. That's just kind of how it goes. Very rarely do I go from start to finish with the exact plan that I had in my mind. You guys will have to let me know if that happens to you too, or if like you're able to stick to the plan. So then I just attached this little jute twine bow to the mason jar, and I did switch over from this little deer tag to a Christmas tree farm one. These are so cute. I got these at the Dollar General a little while back. I've used them before and I've talked about them before in my videos, but I recently went to Dollar General and found a couple more versions, so I definitely scarfed those up. They are so cute. I think they're so fun to work into your DIY decor, or of course you could just use them as regular tags on gifts. Either way, they are so cute. So this project was super easy and super quick, and I think it turned out really cute. The hardest part for me was trying to find a spot for my bow. So this next project is a repurpose project, and I got these trees probably 5 or 6 years ago, either from like a Dollar General or even maybe Big Lots. I used to love the sparkly stuff, but I just don't anymore. So I tried to go ahead and save these cute little gifts and snowflakes. You guys have to watch this part. My daughter was there with me as I was popping this off, and she thought that was hilarious, so I made sure I slowed that down so you could see it. But anyways, I tried to take all of like that extra stuff off that I could easily repurpose, and I did successfully. Nothing broke. And then there was no way I was going to sand that glitter, no way I was even going to try. So of course I just flipped them over and gave them a couple coats of the white chalk paint. There are 2 of these, so this took a little bit of time to do both of them. So after they were nice and dry, I went ahead with some of my Java chalk paint. It's like a nice dark brown chalk paint, a lot like the truffle from Waverly. And I just went ahead and distressed this tree like crazy. I love this look. I just absolutely love how rustic it turns out in the end. So I just went ahead and did these to both of the trees. So this angle is really bad and I apologize, but I did go ahead and attach some just a garland tie from the Dollar Tree. I kind of folded it over to make it look a little bit bigger and fuller, and I just attached it to the bottom of the tree, and then I went ahead and attached a pine cone and then a couple little berries as well. So as I'm attaching these berries, I don't know if you guys can notice like the little hand and pencil going up in the corner of the screen. That's my 3, almost 4-year-old Renna, and the whole time I was working on these trees, she was sitting here tracing her hand, and she was so proud of herself. So when she asked me if she could trace mine, of course I had to take a minute and go ahead and let her do that. Guys, there are so many times that when I'm crafting, when I'm filming, or even when I'm not filming, she is right alongside me. Like you'll see a little hand or a little feet, or the camera will shake, but so Renna's always close by, which I absolutely love. All 3 of my girls are always so intrigued with what I'm working on. I want to thank you guys for coming along with me today. I had so much fun making these DIYs. I absolutely love anything crafting, and making Christmas decor has been so much fun. I have so much more stuff I cannot even wait to put out and show you guys. I film like almost every single day, and I'm starting to have to pick which ones I'm going to go ahead and upload on YouTube and which ones I'm just going to throw up some pictures on Instagram. So if you aren't already following me on Instagram, make sure you go ahead and do that. I'll drop my handle in the description box as always, along with any links to anything from Amazon or any other stores that I can find for you. I hope that this video gave you lots of inspiration to get your creative juices flowing. Plug in your hot glue guns and put your hands to work, because you never know what you could come up with unless you try. If you aren't already subscribed, I hope you go ahead and click that subscribe button. Join my YouTube family here at Kinda Crafty Kenzie. I love anything and everything DIY, crafting, and shopping hauls, mostly for craft things. If you like videos like that, go ahead and pound that like button. Turn on that notification so you never miss an upload. And I hope you guys have the best day and the best week. And I will see you all real soon. Bye.